surprisingly, there's a few people that are new here. Like since Making a Murderer 2, a lot of the people here that come to my channel, they come here because I don't mind talking about the old stuff, the stuff that everybody else is like, we've talked about this like 100 times. Like, I don't mind going back over all that old stuff and catching people up and educating them and showing them where they can find things and whatever, and having those old discussions that everybody's really tired of talking about. So obviously here's the missing light. And if you go right there, look what's right behind it. It's the tire. So yeah, I think right here you can see how it's bent outwards, like something went in here and was pulled out. I think, I mean, what else goes in and gets pulled out? An arrow, obviously. That's also where, right here in this wheel well, is where that yellow clump of shit was. So I just really feel like there's a lot of good evidence pointing at this tire was popped with an arrow. If an arrow hadn't been found, maybe not, but an arrow was found. And like I've been saying this forever, I feel like that's some good evidence. How do we put it all together? I don't know. Bobby looks the best to me, but you know, I don't know. That right there, that says something to me. But you know, oh, I wasn't even showing the screen, was I? Did you guys see the screen the whole time? Oh, for fuck's sake. That's about how.
Okay. Here is I'm gonna post now the link to Ryan lying about the Ryan lying to Fassbender.
Yeah, so all that stuff I was talking. Sorry, you guys, I didn't even have the picture shared. Oh, you did see it? Okay. Oh, I don't know why it was telling me you didn't see it, but that's
there you go.
I'm glad you saw it. Good.
So we can chalk that up to another one of Ryan's bullshitters. So
how would the arrow damage the light? I don't know. I necessarily did
the only thing, the way they talk, the arrow that they say was found in the pictures we found, if it's one that expands, my problem with that is when you pull it out, that's going to cause more damage.
Right, it's going to leave
it's not going to go in, because it'll go in, but it'll come out.
It's going to leave a big asshole, or they just broke it off and shoved it in. You know what I mean? Instead of pulling it out, like maybe they couldn't get it out and they just broke it off and shoved it in the hole, plugged up the hole at the Fix-A-Flat. Like, I think there's some evidence that could be found there when Zellner gets a hold of that RAV4. If that's the same tire, or if that tire's been changed for the spare. Like, I think that there's going to be a hole in one of those tires, possibly an arrow tip. Who knows? Yeah. But something was pulled out. So I do think the arrow was probably pulled out. It probably didn't go all the way in. You know, it probably went in just the tire.
Even if going still with the arrow thing, even if an arrow was used, it might not necessarily be the same type of arrow that they decided to collect. You know, and God only knows, there could have been 84 arrows out there. They only picked up one.
I mean, there was more.
No way to know, huh?
I thought there was more, but I can't remember. That's been too long ago when I was looking into that whole thing. But I thought that I had seen multiple arrows at different locations collected, because I had always thought, for some reason, that there was an arrow collected over on Jambo Creek, where by deer was the accident was.
Well, the in Casso, that's where the coordinates put it. But when you go to the ledgers, which would, you know, my opinion would be that the coordinates and the ledger, which would be the first record of all their bullshit, the ledger is going to be the most accurate, which probably still isn't accurate, but you know what I mean, compared to Casso, because the coordinates do not line up for a damn thing between one or the other. So I think Casso puts it in the area of Jambo Creek. Julie's here. I think maybe she remembers off the top of her head where the first, you know, where the first was found. But then the ledger puts it in the quarry. So,
So Ziggy was asking about the Fix-A-Flat. Here's a picture of the Fix-A-Flat can underneath the passenger seat. This is the brand of Fix-A-Flat. It's the Air Up foaming. This one right here in the middle. And here, of course, is that clump of yellow shit that everybody's called a wasp nest or hornet nest or insulation or whatever. I think it's Fix-A-Flat. That's what I think. I don't know. Would have been nice for somebody to have, solved that mystery in the crime lab for us, wouldn't it have been?
Right. It would have been nice if someone would have taken a clear picture of any damn thing in this case. Because if you would actually have a picture up in there, you could probably figure out what it was without all this craziness.
Right, right. So yeah, that to me, I mean, I just all of that together, I just really feel like that's something. It
Hold
can't.
on. Ben
Not
just
just
asked a question. Oh, when we're done with this, Ben asked about the sink theory, blood in the sink. So when we're done with this part, then we can't forget that.
okay. I mean, I don't really have anything else to add to that.
Yeah, no. But the reason I brought that up again, Ryan, because Lisa was talking earlier, and I don't know if she's still here, but I thought it was interesting. I'd never really heard it put that way to where he stopped to help her and then like gave her a lift somewhere. That's interesting.
Yeah, really quick before we go on to that, there's a comment up here by Mark.
Okay.
With those scrapes, that looks like someone hit something, tearing that fender up and popping that light cluster out. I think so too. I think there could definitely be also signs of damage there. Like, for example, let's just say she's going at a fairly slow speed, but fast enough to where if her tire was shot out, she would come off the road, maybe hit a fence post or something like that, scraping up the front of her car, putting those deep gouges in it, and maybe popping out that light. I don't think that every bit of that damage was done by an arrow, but I think that, if your tire's shot out while you're driving, what's going to happen, So I think that it's possible she had a small accident, um, not enough to get injured because there's no blood of hers there that we know of. Like she didn't hit her head on the steering wheel or on the windshield, nothing like that, like nothing serious, but enough to get her stopped, and that I don't want to get into the sick details, but I have it relates to Bobby talking about play Saw. Okay, the sick hunting game, and his friend Mike. So, but if that was the beginning of this sick game, who knows? Like, I don't know. It's just a theory. Yes, I've shared the whole thing with Zellner, the links. There's videos attached to this insane email that I insanely like detailed email that I sent to Zellner, to her investigator Kirby, but it includes a video showing what that foaming Fix-A-Flat does when it's put into a tire, and then you're supposed to drive it right away so that it can distribute around and fill up all the holes. And if there's a big enough hole, it'll come out that hole because it's still, liquefied or whatever. It's not dried up yet. So it will seep out the holes, and it does fling it all over the place. So if you're going forward, it's going to fling it forward into that wheel well where it was found. So it all just, that was my my presentation to her. Do what you do with it, whatever. See if she can make it stick. She can find anything like physical evidence to support it, like a hole in the tire, Fix-A-Flat up in the wheel well, whatever she can find to support it. That would be cool.
Yeah. Kimberly, Mike Osmondson is Bobby's best friend. That's who Mike is. He is he's someone we don't know too much about because he wasn't called to testify, even though he made some pretty interesting statements. And even when those statements were brought to light, the judge didn't see the relevance and all these.
Well, he lied. So
yeah,
that's another thing. Why is Mike Osmondson telling lies? I mean, the statement that he that he said Stephen made, that Stephen and him had this joke that, do you want to help me get rid of a body?
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of that taking place when he said it took place couldn't have happened. It was not possible. So Kratz
Right.
introducing that into court through a third party, through Bobby, who wasn't involved in that conversation, shouldn't have been done, first of all, which is why the defense was trying to get a mistrial right there, just
Right.
immediately, because the jury can't unhear that.
Yeah.
And Mike, of course, was never
Yeah,
called.
Mike said it happened on a Thursday. So she was reported missing on the 3rd, which is a Thursday, and the next Thursday is the 10th, and Stephen's already in jail.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know about the calendars in Wisconsin, but it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in my neck of the woods. So he's either lying or lying. There's no
Some
really other option. You know what I mean?
There's no way around it. His story is impossible. Like,
Oh,
I'm
good.
not saying that he didn't
Oh,
have that conversation, but it didn't happen the way that he said it did. So therefore, I don't believe any of his statement, because we've already proven that it can't be true.
right. Damn, Julie. I was like, oh, there's the map. And then it was gone. I'm like, you tease? What the hell? But yeah, no, Julie did a really cool map to where she laid over the castle coordinates and then what the ledger coordinates are, so you can see the
Yeah.
discrepancies.
And I
And then
was trying to find
something, I
it.
think she did the bones too. I think that was there's like two, I think there was 3 layers, right,
The
Julie?
Yeah, all the evidence that was in Casso, and the evidence that was in the ledgers and the bones.
Right, yeah.
So there was like all of that. So that was, yeah.
So Kimberly, the deer, he hit the deer on the 4th.
It was,
Or no,
he,
he tagged the deer on the 4th, right?
yeah, they got the deer supposedly on the night of the 3rd.
Right.
It was too late to get it tagged till the next day. So
Mm-hmm.
we got it
There
tagged
you
the
go.
next day, supposedly. That's the story. Um, Whatever. I'm not even going to go too much into that, because what's true, I don't know what is true.
Yeah, no, Kimberly just asked which day that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark said, can't rule out that damage happening if they towed that car to the Avery salvage yard. Steering is hard when you're getting dragged. That's true too. Like, that
Mm-hmm.
would be a good reason to, like, when either to cover up how you got her to stop her car so that you could take her where you wanted to take her and do what you want to do to her, or when you're planting the car. Those are both very good reasons why you would want to lie about how that damage occurred to the front of her car. So there's another thing that puts Ryan there. He's the one telling the lies. So Ryan, you can't get around the dude. You can't. He's
Yeah.
all over the place in her disappearance and her murder and planting the car. So he's just
Oh,
absolutely everywhere.
sidebar real quick about Ryan. Okay, so this comes up all the damn time that Ryan signed in under a different name. This is the only point that I will give Ryan in this whole shadiness that he envelops himself in.
Mm-hmm.
His explanation for that was that the person that was writing down everybody's names, they didn't sign in themselves. Whenever he said his name, they heard it as Ryan Kilgus. So that's what they wrote. So he didn't have control over that. Now, is that true or not? Who knows? But I actually believe that. So I think that squashes that he tried to go in under a fake name. I don't think if he was trying to go in under a fake name and be shady, he sure as shit wouldn't have appeared on the news. So I do tend to subscribe to the idea that they misheard his name, so
I do
that's my
too.
2 cents, and that comes up a lot. So I just wanted to throw that out there for people to think about.
Mm-hmm. I agree totally, and I hate to do it, but I have to be fair, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what
Yeah, that's why I said I don't necessarily. I'm not excited about taking his side on any damn thing, but that one I will give him. That one makes sense to me. That one I can justify.
Yes. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, Vanessa, he won't talk to Zellner.
Sorry, give me just a second. Hold, please. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find it to see. I don't see it where he's signed in. Why am I not finding it? Well, I don't see it.
Oh, on the sign-in, sign-out sheet?
Yeah, I'm not finding it because I think I remember looking at it and seeing that, yeah, that's possible. That makes sense. It looks like that writing is very similar. It could have been the same person taking down the names and mishearing it.
Yeah.
I'm not finding it for some reason. That's convenient because I know I have it. I just, that's the problem with having 50 bazillion flipping screenshots. You forget what you name them all.
Yeah, that's actually something I don't have a hard copy of. And all my binders here, I don't have a hard copy of that. Oh, hey, Jerome. Good to see you.
Oh, I don't know. I can't find it. I'm not going to spend too much time looking for it. But
yeah, no, since it got brought up, I wanted to point that out real quick since we were talked about, well, we were on the Ryan kick, so I wanted to get that out there.
Glad it's at least a possibility. You can't put it out completely, but yeah. What? Hold on. So are we still, Julie? Are we still at? Was it 475 on the donations? Are we? Oh, current total donations is 517. Let's get it up to 800 before Allie's finished. Yeah, there you go, Julie. I just asked you and you had already answered me like 5 minutes ago, at least.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything to show you, but that's the current written update. 517. It's not bad. It's not bad, you guys. You guys are awesome.
You're doing great.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Here it is. Let's share it. Here it is, you guys.
Awesome.
517.14. Where do you get 14 cents from? Where does that come from? I wonder.
I'm going to wait and do mine on Sunday and kind of see where the numbers are. So then I know what I want to do.
That's awesome. Oh,
wait and do one more. I'm just going to do one. I thought about doing 4 just so like it's on everyone's channel, but that's too much work. I'll just do one big one at the end.
Here we go.
What's that?
There we go. Paula Elizabeth, love from Australia. Roll G. We all live on Avery Road. Shireen G. Christine L. Lisa B. I believe in you. Thank you all so much. Thank you very, very much for adding to this. I'm so glad we're still climbing. There was so many updates during Ericose's live, and I was sitting there going, oh, if I had that many updates, I would keep flipping it up there so you guys could see every time we got something, because it was exciting. Every time I saw it, I was like, ooh, yay. But he wasn't doing it, so I was like, I'm gonna do it, but I'm not getting those updates like he was. Of course, we're probably getting people all tired right now, so
yeah,
that's
Karen, I agree with you that Ryan and Mike's relationship, for not having a relationship, sure as shit looked like they had a relationship. So yeah, that's questionable.
Julie, please continue to hold. Oh, you guys, I can't wait. Most of you are going to be like, who is this Paul guy? He is funny. On Sunday. Sunday, he's coming.
Oh, I can't wait.
I know. I'm so excited. It's going to be fun. So, well, let's see. We've got another hour and a half before Mr. Capaldi comes in.
Okay.
What are we going to do, you guys?
Somebody toss out an idea or a topic.
Yeah. Uh, they were together since school. Surely I missed some questions or something. I'm not saying anything. Wow. Who had motive? Well, let's talk about some motive.
Sure.
I'll flop out what I think. I think jealousy. I think control. I think jealous ex is my motive.
Mm.
I think it was a crime of passion. I don't think he planned it. I don't think it was. Um, I don't really necessarily even think it was intentional. I think it could have been accidental, a fight that got out of hand or something. Maybe she fell and hit her head. Probably not necessarily, since there's blood spatter on the back door. So I think she was probably hit with something, but still, um, you know, who knows when or how that got there? Like that could have gotten there at some later point, but I still think it's possible that it could have been an accident. Panicked, freaked out. Scott Blodorn is there because he would have been home from work and he helped him cover it up. That's my very quick version of a theory and motive for why it happened. What do you think?
I don't know, but I'll tell you in a second. But I love the way Vanessa worded it. There was too much that went right for the state. Damn right. I mean, how convenient. It's so bizarre. But motive, Ryan is the only one who had, in my opinion, that had like a mode, like what I'd consider a real motive. I still think if it is Ryan, crime of passion kind of thing, I don't think he planned it. But then you cannot get over Bobby and that saw thing just drives me insane. So that one's
Yeah,
kind of hard. I don't know.
it is.
It's just I can't even put it into words. Once that all came to light, that was like, oh dude, you're weirder
Yeah,
than I thought, and I'm not trying to be ugly, but it's like, whoa.
right. And you know, if I was to like how would I've been trying to think about this ever since all that came out. If Ryan is still the guy, how do I explain all of that weirdness with Bobby and the stuff that
Right.
was on the computer? How do I explain that? And it's hard.
Yeah.
I just say he's just being a weird teenage boy, curiosity,
Right.
trying to shock value, you know, playing Mr. Stud Boy because the girls seem to think, oh, he's the cute brother, all that. So
Right.
it didn't seem like a new thing. Like Bobby would probably regularly jump on and chat with Brendan and Blaine's little girlfriends,
Mm-hmm.
and they would play tricks on them. And, Bobby would pretend to be Blaine this day or pretend to be Brendan that day. And then the girls would never really know who they're talking to until they figured it out or until he finally admitted that, oh, it's Bobby. Like he was playing games. Was he just an immature older kid? I mean, I could see that.
Right.
Just curiosity and into some sick stuff. Maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
And like
I,
Karen's absolutely right. The trouble is the investigation went directly to Stephen
look,
so
Paul's
early.
here.
And I don't know, does everybody here know? I don't know how new everybody is to this, that Stephen was actually listed as a murder suspect. Was it 5:30? 5:30 or 6:30 that night. So just within a couple hours,
Yeah,
Stephen is listed as a murder suspect. And
yeah,
I'll post a document if you guys want to see it if you've not seen it. But
yeah.
yeah, so there was just Paul's here. Hi, Paul.
He said, "Is like Paul's here."
We were just
Hi.
talking about you. So yeah, for anybody that doesn't know that or would like to see, that is a fact. There's a piece of paper that says that that's the case. Here, actually, I have a hard copy of that. I can tell you exactly what time it was. Ugh. Where is it?
Let's see if I can pull it up. Stephen listed as a
It
suspect.
is, um,
Got it here.
yeah, it was at, what does that say? Son of a bitch, I can't see. At 18:34, so it's 6:34 that night. And Karen Hallbach called her missing, just a few hours prior. So before they had done anything, there you go. Before they had done anything, before, anything, they already put him.
Yep, there's.
Yeah, Millbilly, you're right. Well, okay, so she's listed as kidnapped on the report that says that the car was taken into custody on the 3rd. But if you look at the missing persons report that Karen Hallbach felt, that report says death at the top.
Here it is.
So,
suspect, right here, 1834.
Yep.
On November 3rd, 1834, suspect, homicide, non-negligent. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
How's that? Which explains that part in Making a Murderer. And if we were to really go into it, I don't remember off the top of my head what time that was. It was right about that time, I think, that the officer called in to dispatch, and they're like, well, do we have him in custody yet?
Yeah.
That's right around that time, way before they should be talking about. First of all, how on the 3rd at this time, this is probably right around the time Colburn probably visited the salvage yard and found out that the person that Teresa saw was not beyond it. It was Stephen Avery. So immediately, as soon as he gets that information, what happens? They stick him in there as the suspect, like immediately, as soon as they find out. So that tells you right there when they found out. And like I've said before, Ryan's got this information 1 hour after she's reported missing. So the police didn't know that until that moment when Colbert went out there.
Yeah, and then that call about is Stephen in custody though, that call was on Saturday, like immediately after they found the car, like poof, is he in custody yet? So yeah, Paul, you're right. If the wind blows the wrong way up there, it's Stephen's fault. You're absolutely right.
Right. So Paul, you want to come on with us? We've still got an hour and a half to go. And we're winding down. Like I had a couple of changes in my lineup. So
yeah. So what other topics we got, Ryan? Yeah, Jacobs was all excited about it.
Second. We need 300 more in donations for Allie.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Paul said give him a minute for coffee and setup. That's exciting.
Oh, God, you guys, Paul's coming on with us. I'm so excited.
Okay, so let me see. What other things?
I'm going to get the link.
Some other anomalies here.
Isn't that funny? Paul, every time you come on here, you can't even say hi, and you're going to be like, you want to come on with us? We can talk about the rally. Yeah. So
you want to explain the creeped me out statement real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, and Ken Kratz likes to talk about how Teresa was creeped out by Stephen Avery. He says that every time someone puts a microphone in front of his fat mouth and lies about it. But we all know that that's not what happened. It was Kathy Williford who said that statement, and they have known that all along. Like,
yeah, and you want to read it yourself. Her statement is on pages 331 and 332 of Casso. So, and 332 is where it talks about her being creeped out.
Yeah. Hold on, let's see what I've got here. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. What am I doing here? Interesting. Kathy Williford. Here it is, I think. Yep, there it is. I found it. Of course I have a screenshot of this. Why wouldn't I have a screenshot of this?
All I know, it's page 332.
There it is. This is Kathy Williford's statement right there
Yep,
at the
there you
bottom.
go.
He creeped me out because
Oh,
he asked her if she'd like to come inside and wait while he filled out the form. That is enough to say that he creeped her out. Are you serious, lady? Like, he's being friendly and you're turning it into, like, of course now you're turning into it. And Miss ex DOJ agent,
right,
special agent lady, what are you doing going out there as an auto trader photographer? Why are you there
right.
in the first place? Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you think that they've got him under surveillance, you know,
Mhm.
way ahead of time. And I'm not saying that they planned this whole thing. I really do believe they just took advantage of a situation that already played itself out. Once they saw it, they jumped all over it. But I think they had him and they were watching him for him to screw up at all so they could get him for whatever they could get him for. Because,
Yeah,
you know, you
and with
make the
Kathy Williford, okay, so she turned over all of her stuff to Teresa in April. And then everybody thinks that Teresa had been there, 10 billion, twice a week for months. And just so we're clear, hold on, I'll tell you exactly. In CASO 2.0, it breaks down the dates that all the days she was there. Hold on, I'll tell you the page. It's towards the back. She was on, okay, so on page 57 of CASO 2.0, Teresa had only been there on June 20th, August 22nd, August 29th, September 19th, which that appointment was made by Tom Yonda. And then she was there on 10/10, and then, of course, on Halloween. So she was only there a total of 6 times. So I guess I see people tend to think that she was there all the time. And, not necessarily, like, she didn't have this big, long-standing history. It was just a handful of times. So,
or once.
right,
Katz likes to act like, and so does Auto Trader. It seems like she had just been there the one time, and that explains why the bus driver had to have seen her on the 31st. When we know damn well that they know damn well that she was there multiple times. So why are they still, to this day, still trying to pull this crazy? The bus driver saw Teresa that day.
right,
Therefore, that proves that Brendan could have been involved, and that proves that they're all lying. And Stephen's a liar. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard Stephen is a liar. Stephen lied. He didn't lie. Still to this day, point it out. Show me one time he lied. He's told the same story from the beginning. His story has not fucking changed. He might have added a couple of details if he was asked a question, unimportant details. I'm not talking about big things like I killed a girl. I'm talking about unimportant details like I burned some garbage.
right.
Stuff like that I'm sorry, but if you ask me what I did today, I'm not going to tell you I did my dishes. I'm not going to tell you stuff like that. Why would I
Right.
tell you I took my trash down to the dumpster?
Right. Like
It's
if cops knock on my door in an hour and say, "What did you do on Tuesday?" I'll be
right.
like, "Your guess is good as mine." Because if I don't need to remember what I'm doing, I'm sure as shit gonna forget. Like I don't keep
Right.
track of, I don't, diary everything I do, and you can't expect That's not normal human behavior,
Right.
in my
If you
opinion.
ask me that right now, what did you do today, Allie?
Right.
Um, I have done so many things and talked to so many people. I promise I couldn't tell you even half of the things off the top of my head. But why is it that I remember all of these details about the case? I'll tell you why. Because
Right.
I've looked up these things for the last 3 years. I didn't have one day to think about it. I didn't have 2 days to think about it and forget about it. I've looked up these exact same questions and answers and screenshots and had these conversations for the last 3 years. So it is burned into my head.
Yeah.
I'm not an encyclopedia. It's just that I have gone over this so many times that a lot of these things are just burned in my brain, and I can tell you half the time what flipping page number something is on.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it's because I just have a great memory. I don't have a great memory, not more than anybody else does. But if you ask me what I did today, I promise I couldn't tell you all the things I've done, because
Okay,
it's
we
been.
need to take an update timeout. Jerome's here, and he wants to talk about. He wants us to plug the
Oh,
French murder. So we definitely. I want to take a second and do that because he's asked a couple times. So before we
good.
forget.
Hi, Jerome. I don't even see him. Where is he?
Where'd he go? He was just there.
Uh-oh.
Gosh, damn it.
Can you take 1 minute from French Crew on YouTube? Yes, sir. Do you guys have that link, or should I? I'm sure they got it. There you go. Pom Pom linked it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. French Crew. Like, so just really quickly, Jerome is our French guy. He's taking some of everybody's videos, like Paul, Capaldi, Eric Jose, me, Tracy, everybody. He's taking all of our, not all of our videos, but he's taking some of our videos and translating them into French for the people who don't speak English. And I think that is freaking amazing that he's doing this. So especially for our
and he's a genuinely nice, down-to-earth, sweet guy. So you're gonna love him.
So nice. Yeah. So nice. Thank you, Jerome.
Okay. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt in the middle of that conversation, but I wanted to make sure that while Jerome was here, I wanted to make sure we did that for him.
Millbilly. Why is Castle and MTSO reports do not match? Right. Hold on. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. Sorry. If I'm not tagged, I might miss it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He's under Making a Murderer French Crew.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So admitting later that he did indeed have a fire that night after previously denying it wasn't a lie. He didn't deny that he had a fire. I mean, not like saying, no, I did not have a fire on that day. If he says, no, it was like 2 weeks, that's not necessarily a lie. It is one of two things. He could be misremembering it. He could be lying. That is a possibility. He could be lying. He could be misremembering it. So one of three things. Or it didn't happen. And this is something that they're planting inside everyone's head because there's going to be bones found in the burn pit. So I don't, who just said hi to me? Hi, Jerome. Personally, if I had to choose one, I don't know what I believe. I don't know if I believe that there even was a fire that night, because if I had to think logically about it, a lot of people, like country folks like me, you know, if you have a bonfire, that's an event. Okay. That's not a, I'm going to burn some trash to get rid of my garbage. It's an event. You invite people over, you make a giant fire, you hang around the fire, and you just, you know, talk and goof off and drink some beers and whatever. And it's an event. Okay. They had a bonfire event planned for that following Thursday that didn't happen. So if they're gathering materials for this bonfire that didn't happen, why would they be having a giant fire on the 31st? Why are they gathering materials to burn on the 31st when they are already planning to have a bonfire on that Thursday? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You would save all those big things like the van seats and the tires and the branches and all that for your bonfire. So I don't believe that necessarily that it did. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but what if that's the truth? What if it really was 2 weeks previously, which would have only been a week a week after he was arrested, I think it was. So a week before he was, whatever. Now I'm starting to get mixed up. But what if it was 2 weeks, like he said? What if he was telling the truth and he did not have a fire on the 31st? It is a possibility. So we can't say that he lied. We don't know for sure what day there was a fire. It looks like there was a fire sometime in the recent past or area. But what day it was, who knows? It is a possibility, is all I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, what was he burning that day? I don't know. Was he burning anything that day? Who knows? There's been different stories. What does Redant say? Redant says it was a fire in a burn barrel. So don't tell me that Redant is seeing a fire in a burn barrel and not seeing a fire in the burn pit. They're putting those words into his mouth, and he said that he didn't say that. So, I have a problem with that. I feel like they're trying to make the fire bigger than it was. They're trying to move the location of the fire to where it was not. They're trying to, did I say change the size? Yeah, I did. Because why? Because they know they're going to plant bones there. Of course they know that bones were there. So yeah, they needed there to be a fire. I feel like that was the whole reason behind that. Redant says he saw a fire, light bulb goes off.
Right.
I mean, like, that's what do you think? Do you think there was a fire on the 31st, or because that's a good question.
I mean, I could see that there would be a fire, that they'd be picking up shit and throwing it in there. I mean, where I live, we have friends that have pretty decent sized properties. And on a random day at any time, any hour, they'll just be like, oh shit, throw this on. Oh, there's enough shit on the burn pile. Light that bitch up. So it wouldn't shock me either way. If they didn't have a fire, big deal. But if they did and thought, oh, what the hell, we're not doing anything. Plus, it's Halloween. Why not? Who cares? They're just out driving around in the golf cart, picking up shit and throwing it on there. And the only reason why I believe that there probably was is because Brendan says the same thing about the fire every time. So I kind of feel like it's like the rest of when Brendan talks about Blaine's boss called and I did this at this like everything, when he's allowed to actually tell his narrative and his story, that fire stays the same. So that's one thing that makes me think that probably, now it wasn't like this 8-hour extravaganza, it was a couple hours just outside dicking around, so, but I could see it going either way.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like it's unfortunately impossible to know for sure to answer, but it could
Yeah.
go either way. Chloe.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was getting ready to say that to you because I'd love to hear it. I said, why don't you come and tell us?
Right. Do you want to join us, Chloe? I know what you're saying. It's too much to type. I know just what you're saying. When people ask me, what do you think? Honey, if I have to type it, it's not happening because there's too much. There's too much. And it really will not fit in 200 words at all. So, or 200.
I agree, Karen. I agree a lot. And not so much because of their IQs, but just from their, you just get, number one, neither one of them would make a good liar. I mean, let's just throw that out there. And that's not to be derogatory. They pretty much, you can see it on their face. You know what I mean? I get that impression. So I don't think either one of them would make a good liar to be able to maintain that lie for all these years. So I agree with you, Karen.
Okay, you know what? I was going to type this, but Chloe, we can walk you through it. If you do want to join us, just tell me where I can message you the link. But But if you don't and you'd rather just include me and Denise in a private conversation, hi Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Look at him, just all laying out in the bed.
Right?
Yeah, if you'd rather like tag us in a private conversation, that'd be great too.
Yeah, but I would definitely, Chloe. I'd like to hear it.
I would too. Paul. I think Paul, you got your YouTube still playing?
I turned YouTube off.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Does it still sound weird?
I thought I heard myself echoing, but it sounds fine now.
It does not. Okay.
I'm just loud. Oops.
Okay. Do I need to get my earbuds out?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, Michelle, yes, it did. What Teresa used was an Outlook program, and she printed off things that were already, like she already had entered into the computer, and then she would handwrite things on there. So yes. And the issue with the day planner is that day when she was out and about, she handwrote things that day. So in order for Ryan to get the day planner, he would have had to have contact with her on that day, or well, prior to her being reported missing, whether it was that day or whenever. There it is, right there.
Let me show you this. Here's the day planner. It shows right here that it was printed on October 30th at 10:29 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
from the computer, and obviously these typed in entries are entered on the computer, and then of course she hand wrote notes that day. So there's that, but I still hear an echo.
Yeah, I do too now.
Yeah, got Allie echo.
Is it me echoing?
I think so.
Let me see how I can fix that, because I don't hear it on my side.
Okay.
I mean, it's not me.
Do you guys hear an echo? Oh, I don't hear it now.
Yeah, now it's fine.
What is happening? Okay.
I don't know. You and I had this problem today, but I know what that problem was. My car was not having it, but
yeah.
Yeah, everybody tell Chloe to buck up. She can do it. I'd love to hear.
Chloe, where would you message us? Are you on Discord? Or do you want to, you can message me on Facebook.
Yeah, can somebody post the Discord link, by the way?
Yeah. Actually, I'll do it because I'm not sure Julie's here. But
the day planner is important, Chloe. And if you don't know Allie very well, you will soon find out that day planner is her Achilles heel. Like that is something.
Yeah, I have got to get rid of that. I have to get that out of my head. I can't. So if you have something that explains it, please share with me. I'm on Discord. You can find me there. My name's Devlin Allie, or I'm on Facebook under Allie Apperson. You can message me there as well. But I'd love to hear your theory, however you want to present it. Or you can email me at allieapperson.com. I'll write it in chat.
All right, Paul, what do you want to talk about? What topics you got spinning in your melon?
First of all, can y'all still hear the echo? Because I think some people are saying that the echo's still there. I want to make sure it's not my computer doing it. I don't hear it over here, though, so that makes me think that it's my computer. Do y'all hear it?
When you talk, it's staticky.
Yeah, I can hear it like when Denise or I talk, but not you.
But it's staticky when I talk. Is it better? Do I need to come closer to the microphone?
No, you need your earbuds.
Might need to.
That's so funny.
I am still dying over that. That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it's my computer doing it. I hope it's not. I wonder if let me think, if I plug the earbuds in, maybe it would quit. Because one thing that I wondered after the whole earbud fiasco is because there's like when I used to do it and I could hear the echo myself when I was figuring out how to do all this, and then I plugged the earbuds in and it wouldn't echo.
Right.
So it's like taking the option of my speaker away, but again, I'm not hearing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when you're on live, you don't need it because you're the only one talking. But when you're on like with us, we're talking, so we're the ones that are echoing on your speakers. Guessing. If that makes sense.
So maybe I should get the earbuds so that y'all are coming to the earbuds.
Yeah, just when you're on.
Maybe try that. You might actually need your earbuds tonight, Paul, or this morning.
So just everyone know that it is on purpose. It is on purpose. They're actually made up.
It's a prop.
It's a prop, yeah. It's for the looks. It makes you look official.
Something I want to say. Kimberly's saying that he'd have to have contact with her on that day or access to the car before they found it. And then Michelle's speculating that she possibly made it home, which a lot of people speculate that too.
Yeah, I do believe.
Then the hard part is figuring out how her car got back to the turnaround.
Well, I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
Because why not? I do believe that the day planner is, like I've said a million times, I think the day planner is the biggest clue. There's a lot of reasons why, but I'll try to really quickly go over something related to the RAV4. I do believe that she made it home. I believe that the day planner was intentionally not burned along with the rest of her items because the killer believed that it directly linked Teresa to Stephen Avery, and not just Anne Avery, to Stephen Avery specifically. They believed that, even though it was not true. It turned out to be Steve Speckman, but so it was saved. So I think that the plan all along was to frame Stephen Avery for what happened to Teresa. So planting the car over near his house at the turnaround, I think was done after the blood was planted, after whatever they were done with it, and they were ready for it to be found. Because of course, I think up until that point, it was hidden, probably over at Cuss Road in the bushes and the trees. But when they were ready for it to be found, after they were done planting all the things, they put it in plain sight where it could be found. So I think that's why it was moved there, because it's in close proximity to the Avery property, but not on the Avery property. Now, I have another theory of why I think it was moved from the turnaround to the Avery property. I don't know if I should go into that, but I guess I will. I might as well, because I think that the police, when they did find it, I do believe, Colburn called in the plates because he was looking at the plates. And when that was reported up to the boss, I think they decided that's not good enough. Having it close is not good enough. They needed it to be on the property because that's their key to get onto the property to plant the rest of the stuff. Because it is, if you think about it, the RAV4 being found is how they gained access to the Avery property. And exactly. I don't think that was an accident. I think that was intentionally done.
No, they definitely need a reason to get on there.
Right. How else? I mean, think about it. How else would they have gotten access to the Avery property? They couldn't get a search warrant. They had nothing to go on. Finding that car on the property was their key to get that warrant so they can go in there and start framing Stephen, however else they wanted to frame him.
Yeah. All right, Paul, what are you thinking? What's some questions you got going on over there?
All right.
So I was gonna. So first of all, y'all tell me. I asked the chat, but y'all tell me if you're hearing the feedback anymore. Does it sound any better?
Yeah, I don't hear it now.
Yeah, okay. No, it sounds better to me.
Yep.
Okay, because I have the earbuds.
Yeah, earbuds.
So we're back in business. We're back to our roots. So I'm gonna kind of go based off of Okay, people are saying it's gone. Okay, cool.
Hold on. No, Chloe, we don't have anything until after she's reported missing. We don't have any calls, any audio of anything. That's so. Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to answer her real quick.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
As you were, Paul. Sorry.
So I'm gonna kind of go based on like asking some what I consider probably beginner making a murderer type questions. If y'all have covered any of this stuff or gone over the topics, just be like, oh my god, we've already done that, Paul, move on.
No, it's fine.
That was so at the beginning of this.
So it doesn't matter.
So some of them I'm gonna go based off of the thing a day that everybody posts or whatever. And then because I was gonna actually today, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna rewatch the thing just to like refresh and everything up. But then y'all were on, and I was like, oh my gosh, let's go. So, but yeah, let's talk about like some of the. Well, first of all, at some point, Allie, and maybe we could talk about this first. I thought it was really interesting when you were telling. I think it was Linda and I are on a live about how Avery has the that burn thing on the property. Remember, you showed pictures, and we were all dumbfounded that this had never made it out there because we were just like, well, why in God's name would he have, you know, allegedly, you know, done what they said and burnt his body there when he had actually, what was that thing they have on the property, an incinerator or something?
Smelter. Yeah. Yeah, we can pull that up again while you can talk about it some more if you want.
Well, yeah, because I never even knew about that until you pointed that out, and it was just another whole thing that just made the fire pit issue in addition to the issues that are already there with it. I mean, I was just so shocked by that, and I just don't know if like tons of people know about that. Because I was just like, yeah, why in God's name would he just have like a barbecue out front when he has like this? Like, if the whole point is to, yeah,
right,
yep,
yeah, and it's the same thing with that. If you have access to a smelter, why use a burn barrel? If you have access to a car crusher, why hide the car in plain sight? Like,
exactly.
It makes no sense. Logically, it makes no sense. At least not to me.
Wait, now Millie's saying it wasn't was it not operating at the time?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can still burn something in there. Like, if you set it on fire. I mean, it might not have been, but they could see that it hadn't been used in a while, so it wasn't considered as a place where she could have been burned. But it still doesn't mean that something couldn't be burned in there.
It's way more of a discreet spot than the front yard.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So another thing now, please hold. Let me go to. Okay, so this first one is this is day 49. I'm just gonna kind of read like that. If Teresa was shot in Stephen Avery's garage, what happened to all the blood? So have y'all talked about that? Because that was such an obvious thing to me, where it's like this horrific, and not even just there, but this is just what always baffled me with this, is this horrific crime was supposed to have taken place like in two spots, the bedroom and the garage. And but there's literally like nothing there showing that this happened. I mean, that's the part that, you know, especially the bedroom, where you would just think that all this stuff would be DNA and, you know, crazy stuff would be in there. And so I've always just been like, how did that even make it past like the litmus test? I don't even grasp that part.
Right.
I mean, it just seems like it's such a bad lie.
When they did the luminol did not show anything that would come close to. I mean, the luminol barely showed evidence that he killed a fucking spider in the garage, let alone a person. You know, so it's just it's ridiculous, is what it is. So yeah, there's no blood. Who said that? Was that Strang? Where's the blood? There's no blood.
Yeah, I mean, that part. Go ahead, Allie.
Right. Yeah. I think that's funny. Of course, I don't understand how they try to sell that. This is what happened, but they can't back that up forensically. So at this point, it's just, you know, circumstantial nonsense. It's a theory based on nothing. It's nothing. But you're putting it out there in the media, and you're saying this is what happened, and then, you know, because Brendan confessed to this supposedly without backing it up before you present it to the media and the public.
Right.
Like, of course in trial, it's not going to come out because it's nonsense, which is why they didn't want to call Brendan. They knew it could be easily disproven. So, yeah, so they don't call Brendan and challenge that, of course.
Yeah, because that part just always, and I mean, not always, it still does to this day. I'm just like, how, and just like you said, of course, that's why they didn't call Brendan up there, because it was so blatantly obvious. But that aspect of it, in addition to the other things, I'm just like, I mean, it's just shocking to me that they can pull that and get away with it. Because it's someone's like, look, if you're going to coerce a confession out of somebody, at least make the facts add up to the coercion. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
at least have some evidence to add up to the lie that's being presented. They didn't even bother with that. You know what I'm saying? They were just like, oh, this sounds good. And then the whole thing with bullets and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, because I grew up not in the country, but kind of in the country. Not as country, I grew up in the woods. But I mean, that was just normal. Like, I mean, you could find shell casings, because that's what you do out in the woods. You shoot at stuff,
Right.
Right. So it's like, that's just a normal thing to me, which I guess is some people would be like, well, why would there be shell casings laying around randomly or whatever?
Right.
But those didn't even add up to what they were trying to say. Excuse me. So that's just the part that always, in addition to everything, I mean, when we pick it apart, but it's just, at the end of the day, I'm just like, there really isn't even a crime scene. I mean, it baffles me. And then the bedroom, excuse me, the bedroom part, which is like where all this stuff was supposed to be taking place. I mean, there's just nothing in there. You know what I mean? I mean, like, just nothing.
I think it was at Brendan's trial. They were talking when Wiegert was on the stand, and Strang was, or not Strang, shit. One of that old guy, whatever, was like, oh, so there was no blood, blah blah blah, and then Wiegert pops off with, well, they had 5 days to clean up.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Please.
So you take a rug doctor. Okay, that's great. He had a rug doctor, but I've seen the pictures. He sure did not clean that carpet. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not downing them, but that place was not, that place was not about to be on a Mr. Clean commercial. No way.
Spotless.
Right.
That's Wendy Baldwin liked to call it. It was spotless.
Right.
Please, honey.
Right. I mean, I don't mean to be derogatory, but they had 5 days to clean up.
Yeah, 5 days to clean up, and then add the dust back, where
right.
So it looks like he didn't clean up. Like, he's so good. Like,
yeah, and all of Bear's dog hair. He cleaned up everything except Bear's dog hair. Get the hell out of town.
Dust all over the headboard where she's supposedly tied up, struggling, fighting for her life. There's no scratch on it. All the dust is there. It's not disturbed. Please. No one is that good. Like, that's that's magic. That's magic to take away every trace of her existing in that trailer. And
even then,
Martha, they want you to think that he picked up the dust, scrubbed off the blood, and then put the 6 months of dust right back on top to make it look good. Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah,
that's what we're supposed to believe.
Both kinds of bleach, no less.
Right.
Both kinds to, the I can't even say the word, oxygenated blood, and then, or the bleach, and then the regular bleach, the chlorine bleach. So you got to have both kinds. You got to remove the DNA, and you have to remove the appearance of blood. So having both kinds of bleach splattered all over the bedroom, there's no trace of that. I'm sorry, but that lights up like a Christmas tree with luminol. You would see bleach everywhere, and you don't see that either in the garage or in the trailer. So sorry, you didn't clean it up. It wasn't there. Like, these things could be so easily disproven through forensic evidence that it blows my mind that it wasn't challenged. I'm so sad that they didn't call Brendan, so it could all just be destroyed. If they would have called Brendan,
yeah.
I think the chances would have been so much better that Stephen wouldn't have been convicted. If the jury was honest, it would have at least been a hung jury or something. I can't. I can't.
That's the part that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
That's the part where it's like at least a hung jury that just surprises me, because like with all of this kind of information, like take out like even some of the rabbit holes that like people have learned like after the trial, you know what I mean, like they've been gone down, but just that basic stuff right there, just basic 101 evidence, oh well, he cleaned it up and he did this and that. I mean, I'm like, well, you could tell that. I mean, I'm sorry, but the crime scene that took place, you cannot tell me that he got every bit of blood out of there without being, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it was a possibility, it's just, I just don't see it happening. And I don't see how the jury didn't see that. I don't know.
I think because the defense didn't present it to them. A lot of these accusations were made in the media and not in court. So they couldn't even be challenged in court, really, which is the part that bothers me. You'd think that they'd find a way to introduce this stuff. Well, they had 4 days to clean it up. Well, honey, you just opened a door. Now we're going to talk about, let's talk about cleaning up this evidence. Let's pull up our expert that can say, no, they didn't clean up anything. No one cleaned up.
Yeah.
Sorry, that doesn't fly. It doesn't work.
Can I go on to another question now that we can talk about, or do we want to stay on this?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, so the next one, why was coroner Deborah, how do you say her last name? Kokesh? Barred from
we just say K.
Yeah, Deborah K. I like that. I like that a lot better.
So much easier. I can pronounce K.
Yeah. Me too, most days.
Right.
So why would that always make me curious, like when they kind of barred, aside the obvious reason, so why do y'all have any thoughts on why she was barred from the crime scene? Literally her job.
Yeah.
I mean, a pom-pom thing. I love that. Literally her job.
Yeah. Do you want to do it, Denise? You want it?
What's that?
It's a question.
Oh, why she wasn't allowed there?
Why do you think she wasn't allowed? Because
she wasn't going to play ball, and they needed everybody to be on the same team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my simple explanation. That's my simple opinion, I should say.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that. She's already proven to them that she won't lie for them.
Mm.
And now I can't remember exactly, but it was the motorcycle accident where the police officer ran over one of the victims and killed them.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't willing to lie and say that they were already dead from the accident.
Oh, really? See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I figured you probably wouldn't have known that. That's one of those deep rabbit holes that you find. You find all the things. You kill somebody, you get promoted in Manitowoc. Did you know that?
Wow. Hey, maybe I need to move there and start climbing. Even I probably become head detective out there on something.
Goodness, yeah. So yeah, she's not willing to lie. So
which makes sense. Which see that's why I love asking all this stuff, because I find out all these little tidbits. I didn't know that part about the other aspect. I mean, like just the level of shady just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper, like everywhere you turn.
Oh God. If you would have been on or been around earlier, we had my other friend Casey. She's on Casey Oliver. I almost called her by her old name. Casey Oliver on, and she's working on a case that I got wind of a while back, and I didn't know what to do with it. It's another local person, but in Manitowoc, and this corruption, this case right here is going back to 1967. So it shows like how far back it's going, and then the next in line that they pass the torch to is keeping that secret for them, and then the next in line is pass the torch, and they're keeping that secret from them and for them, and they're just all committing new crimes, covering up for each other, covering up, planting evidence, wrongfully convicting folks. Sweeping shit under the rug that shouldn't be swept under the rug. The corruption just goes back so far, and they've got their people in position, and they know who plays ball and who doesn't. and she was not one of them. So that was pretty well known, I'm sure, through that. And wasn't she involved in the Ricky Hostetler case?
Yeah.
And I don't remember, wasn't she the one that
she basically told them, because when she was brought in, they were basically dictating to her what the story is, and she basically told them, I'm not playing this game. I'm going to say exactly what happened.
Oh,
and
that's
whatever,
right.
you know what I mean?
That's right. It was their story was something like it was a Blazer type vehicle, and she was like, "No, it's the wounds or whatever the damage to his body was doesn't like mesh with that. It was
right.
Not."
Yeah. She basically wasn't going to put her integrity and her job on the line to save their ass from their screw up. And that clearly was not how they wanted to do it. And that was in 99. So she'd had issues before the Stephen thing. And I'm sure there's other cases besides Stephen and Ricky that we don't even have a clue about, which is scary.
It was one of the Herman brothers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who their family owned the
Cleveland Auto Salvage.
They owned the competition auto salvage yard. So,
Cleveland.
You probably don't know about this case either, Paul, but there is a 13-year-old boy, I think he was 13, who was struck in the middle of the night, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, walking home from a friend's house, and it suspected that he was hit by a drunk driver who was a police officer, and that they covered up for him. So Deborah Kakich wouldn't play ball with them then either. So they've got a history of her. She's not going to cover shit for them. They don't want her there. Like, they broke the law. It is like the law that she be there, and they broke it. And they're like, "Oh, we forgot." Come on, please. You didn't forget because you didn't call in another coroner to come in. You didn't want anybody there that might blow your cover.
Right.
And it was so funny because Kratz on that thing on Twitter where he's talking with AC Rookie, and he asked him about that, and he's like, "Well, isn't it good enough that we had a forensic anthropologist there? Like, that's even better than a coroner. All a coroner does is kick the body to see if it's dead." Really?
Oh my
gosh. Talking about Calumet did bring in Klassner, whatever the hell his name is. And T, you want to rewatch the beginning of this video because when Courtney was on, she was talking about what he did as far as her brother's case, and he is shady as hell. So yeah, Calumet brought in their medical examiner, but that's.
Well, it sounds to me like when Courtney and her family first, or her sister first went to see him, he was cooperating with them. He was telling them. I think he's the one that said, this child was not. Wasn't an accident. He was murdered.
Yeah.
He saw it when he looked at the pictures that she asked him to get with the autopsy, and he says, "No, this child was murdered." And then at some point he was probably told, "Shut it," and he shut it, and he cut off with her, and he wouldn't tell her anything. He wouldn't cooperate with her anymore. I think that's what happened there. So it's like, at first he didn't know he was supposed to keep his mouth shut, but they got to him, and they're like, "Shh." And he shut it. He did what he was told. So they got some pull and some power there.
Wow.
To make you play ball if you're not going to play ball. And he is probably one of those that does.
They shut down the whole investigation, sealed the documents. They just shut everybody out. Like, it's insanity.
Yeah. Do you happen to know?
I get that people make mistakes and there's wrongful convictions, but and there's corruption. Oh, I could go on for days about that too. But to have so much, it's so, oh my God, there's so much going on in that particular area, in those two counties, that you cannot not think that, there's a good old boys club for real. There's something.
Yeah.
Right.
For real.
Something.
Definitely. Like, I don't even know how you could even try to deny it. It's so clear.
Yeah.
But there they are, you know, and it just keeps it.
Yeah, it's so concentrated. That's the word I was trying to think of a second ago. All the crap is so concentrated, and it's just it's basically the same story over and over. All you do is change a victim's name, and that's the sad part. You know,
right.
It's like they have this script, like they just have like a Mad Lib sitting in the back where you just throw in a few adjectives, verbs, and nouns, and then poof, there's your story. You know,
that's a good analogy.
It's horrific.
So that's why I was gonna say that, like, we're all supporters, we're all on the same side. We really need to get together and, you know, put all of our personal issues aside and get together, go to Manitowoc on June 15th to the rally together and get loud and get rowdy and be like, we're not putting up with this shit. We're just not. We know.
And you know, I got an idea for the rally now that we're really branching out and talking about other cases. I would really like to see signs that support Ricky's family. I'd like to see signs that support Courtney and her family. And yes, we're there for Stephen and Brendan, but Stephen and Brendan inadvertently are bringing attention to these other cases and other families that absolutely needed to. So, you know, name drop as many things as we can. I think that would be fabulous. And I think
that should be your sign.
I think having more than 2 names on a sign are going to be a little bit not, you know, we're not going to like change the world in a day, but it'll be more impactful to see that it's not because of a documentary that we're there, that there's really, the whole system is screwed up, you know? So that's just my 2 cents.
I completely agree with you. And I think, excuse me, like you said, I mean, through their case, all of this is being unearthed because, again, I didn't know about all this stuff. I mean, yeah, you can probably take a good guess as to level of corruption, but to sit here and hear about these other cases you're talking about, I mean, it's just like, it's like, what is going on in that town? I mean, like, how do places, and there's other towns in America just like this that we just haven't discovered yet, you know, and that's one of the things that I think, part of me, with this day and age, with technology, with social media, with things like that, that all this is becoming exposed, you know, so we can start, I mean, it's going to go on for years and years and years. There's always going to be corruption, I think, but like these pockets of it that we're finding that are just like, whoa, this has to be broken up. This is, yeah, because like you said, Denise, I agree. People are people. People make mistakes. I don't care what your job is. Things happen. I get that. Yeah. Also, there's going to be some corruption stuff, but just to the level that things are going on in that town, it's like, this is the Twilight Zone. This is not supposed to be happening. And I'm sorry, I finished my coffee, so now I'm trying to sit up. I'm trying to like to be in my little space here and keep quiet because Matt's still sleeping over there. And Ross goes in here. It got like super cold, and so I'm just like, oh my god, I have to like stay under the covers. It's supposed to be spring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. So like, can we talk? Oh god. Can we talk about real quick the rally coming up? Could you just like throw out that information again real quick?
Sure. Go for it, Allie.
Oh, June 15th at the Manitowoc County Courthouse in Manitowoc, from 11 to 3, I believe, is the times. And if one of the mods can put up the family Facebook group where you can get all the information on that. There is, from what I understand, so check there and make sure, but from what I understand, after the rally, we're all going to go out to the Avery Salvage Yard, have some brats, cook out. Hopefully, I'll get to get my footage that I didn't get to get last time I was there, to show the Pam of God angle from the ground. And then after that, there's going to be an event at the, what's the name of the hotel?
Oh shit.
Baymont. The Baymont
there you go.
Inn or something like that. There's going to be an event there where everybody's just going to gather and hang out. So lots of stuff to do on rally time. So it's going to be so much fun, and we can be loud. Like that is my hope. That is my goal. That is one of the biggest reasons why we did this MaM-a-Thon, is to raise awareness, get people to come out to the rally that might not have heard about it, need more information, so they can start making plans now for June 15th. So got a couple months. Let's go and get loud and rowdy together. And make sure you say hi to me also, please.
It's like 14. It's 14 hours away from my house.
Oh, I wish you could come. We would so do that true crime mukbang. How do you say it? Mukbang.
Mukbang. I call it mukbang. That's probably that's my North Carolina way of saying it. There might be another way of saying it.
I'm trying to say mukbang. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not trying to throw anything out there. Food people. Pom-Pom's going to cook for us. Like, we're talking about, what was it? Overthinking and overeating or something?
Yeah, that was so funny.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was doing that all day yesterday. Just eating and thinking. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me go. I can look up another question here. Okay. I just found one. Okay, so this is just going back to some of the evidence stuff that we're talking about, but she's about the hair. And again, I'm just reading these from the days. I'm actually reading Pom-Pom's tweets that she's retweeting and retweeting, just to give her credit. So about the questions, the 80 days or whatever. So this is the one that goes back to the evidence in the bedroom, where the state claims Stephen and Brendan cut Teresa's hair and Stephen's trailer. Not one single hair was ever found there. I'm just going back to that again. It's just more evidence there, because that's just the kind of, I mean, and again, we already know this, and I guess I could sit here every little bit of it. I could keep going over and over and over, because the level of shock that I go through with each thing, where I'm just like, yeah, like even the whole, and I know that y'all were talking about this when I first came on. I don't know how much of it you talked about with the car getting onto the property, calling the tags and all that type of stuff. You know, it's just the whole thing. I'm just like, it just baffles me. I cannot wrap my mind around it, how they just get away with some of the stuff. It's like that with like the hair being cut. You know, I'm just like, yeah, that's just so, I mean, you know how, think about your hair. That's so easy. That's one of those ways that they always like catch killers and stuff, like, oh, we found a single strand of hair, you know, in the back of their glove compartment, you know, just like crazy stuff or whatever. And it's like, yeah, so apparently they cut her hair, all this stuff, and yep, didn't find anything of that. I mean, there's just nothing tying this, you know, Teresa to the scene other than outside, you know, like what she was doing there very briefly.
Right. Outside, like she never came inside. So, and there's evidence that supports that she never came inside that place.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Can I interrupt? Can I do a sidebar real quick?
Yeah.
So earlier, it just dawned on me when you were talking. Somebody said something made me think of this. Earlier in chat, somebody asked about when we were talking about Ryan, all the dropped phone calls. Can you show real quick that tweet that Leah put out to explain all Ryan's dropped calls real quick before I forget? And
oh yeah,
I don't remember who posted that, but I want to make sure we address that. Sorry, Paul.
No, it's all good. Yeah, because I'm interested in seeing that again too.
I don't know, Ripple, you have any questions? Our topic is making a murder. Anything about it? Any questions you have? Exactly, Lisa. A single hair exonerated him the first time, and that's why Culhane basically became their bitch, because she's the reason she saved that hair, and she's the reason why he was exonerated and made them look like as dumb as they actually are. So this time Culhane needed to, you know, get it right in her, you know, in their terms. So she was in charge, like with Fassbender's, you know, try to put her in the house or garage. This time there was going to be no doubt about it. He did it. So they were going to make that stick.
Yeah. Really quick. The 80 days of hashtag 80 more things is something that Finn's been doing to the 80 days leading up to the rally. So every day she's going to put out a new one. So if you, hopefully the mods put her link up in chat, so everybody follow Finn, and please help retweet these, because Paul is like naming off a bunch of her tweets right now. So those are coming from Finn, and we all retweet them for her because we want everybody to see these. So but yeah, they're great. So
I think I follow. Oh yeah, I see. See, I'm not that versed with Twitter, so yeah, I see. I'm reading off of pom poms, but I see where she's retweeting from Finn. So yeah, I apologize. So those are I think I followed Finn.
Yeah.
I imagine. So
yeah, so when we're with Ryan,
that's why I don't see
everybody was talking about all of his dropped calls. It was Vanessa and Kimberly, and there was a handful of people that it came up, and I said, "Oh, I know Allie has the screenshot." So I want to make sure
Allie has everything.
I grabbed the screenshots.
See, Allie has all the screenshots, and I have hard copies of I don't know if you missed it earlier. You might have. I showed one of my binders and all of my Oh, it's a mess.
Really?
But I know where everything is, but it's easier for Allie because she has the screenshots.
Yeah. So somebody
tell him.
Somebody on Twitter says on November 4th, 4:15 to 7:25, Mr. Hillegas received 21 calls from an unidentified hidden phone number. Who was you talking to? And Leah is like, he's talking to Mark Wiegert. Villegas was heading up search party with Wiegert's help. There you go. Nothing dirty, nothing suspicious. Honey, you busted him. Thank you. Thank you for getting mad and getting sassy and running your mouth like you like to do when you get mad because you busted him. Like up until that, nobody knew who he was talking to specifically. Like it was suspected that it belonged to a police officer, but who, because it's unlisted and it's unknown, we didn't know who, but she tells us right there. Yes, ma'am, you're welcome. Like, yeah, I like it because she is one of those people that if she gets pissed off or she's getting defensive, she says stuff and stuff slips out of her big fat mouth. So yeah, she belongs with Kratz. They're made for each other. All right. Oh, you're welcome, Finn. Yes, ma'am. I'm loving those. I'm loving those tweets.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Right.
I mean, because that's like, again, because I haven't gone down the rabbit hole as deeply. So some of them are, I mean, they're just not some of them. All of them are like really excellent talking points to go through. And to kind of make you sit here and be like, well, yeah, what about this? And start going down the proverbial rabbit hole. Excuse me.
Was this when Zellner went to the Avery Yard and all her calls dropped also? Did Zellner say that?
She did say that in Making a Murderer too, because when she was talking about the phone calls about Ryan's cell phone records, she did make mention of she suspected as that's when he was they were planting the car, and she made mention that when she was out there that they dropped a lot of calls too.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like some big presentation. It was just a little blurb she made in MAM2. So.
Right. And Kimberly, she's asking what day were the drop calls. That was on November 4th from 4:15 to 7:25 p.m. And I can tell you because from being out there personally, when we were out there, I was with several people and we were doing the Pam of God walk. And we were live streaming. There was like 3 of us live streaming from our phones, and 2 of them one of them was able to stay connected pretty well. The other one was every now and then having a little bit of a hiccup in their stream, but mine dropped as soon as we got close to the pit. My reception was garbage. It was dropping every 30 seconds to every minute and a half or so. It was just awful. But as we got to the pit, nothing. It was like a blank spot. I just couldn't stay connected for more than a few seconds. So I abandoned my Pam of God walk that I was trying to live stream. But the others were able to, the other 2 were able to capture most of it. And of course we timed it and all that stuff. It was like 9.5 minutes or something. To just walk straight there without stopping to pretend like we're checking in each and every one, like she said she did, along the way. So that, yeah, I have no doubt that he was in that pit. And he actually says that. He says that when he was out in the area searching, that he was dropping calls. He says that. I think it's on the news. Or when did he say? I think it was on the news or something. I don't remember, but he says it in some interview. Which I thought was interesting because outside the Avery property, I had no problems with my service. Even on the Avery property, up by the office was perfectly fine. But as soon as you get close to that pit, it's garbage. So yeah, there's Ryan saying he's dropping calls, and then there's Leah saying he's talking to Wiegert, and he's obviously dropping calls, and they're calling back, and please, it's not hard to figure out what's he's doing there on the 4th before the RAV4 is found, the day before. What are you doing there? I mean, we know that the RAV4 was still out at the turnaround until probably the night of the 4th, because it was seen all throughout the 3rd. So if I had to guess, I'd say Colburn is calling in the plates, and then they're planting the RAV4 shortly after.
I can't wait to see. I mean, I hope to. God, I really hope I can try and make it up there for that. But if I can't, I'm so excited to see your video doing your walkthrough on that, because I just think that the enormity of being there, because even watching the documentary, I mean, it's just when she describes that, God led me right to that car. I'm just like, really? I mean, there's just absolutely no way. And it didn't. That was just like such. I mean, again, some of these things, I'm like, okay, if that was me, I would be like, well, let's make it out. Like, I think I said this when we talked about it the first time. I would have brought my lunch and hidden somewhere on the property and ate it, and like an hour and a half later, been like, oh my God, I found the car.
Right. Exactly.
Like, I would have like sold the story a little bit better, right? Wrapped it up in a little bit prettier paper than that, But apparently she didn't need to waste any time. That's all it took. God led me to the car.
Right.
But
God
just the enormity of seeing you. What'd you say?
Or God, aka Ryan, is the one that led me to the car.
Exactly.
Well, see,
Ryan, I mean, God.
Because if you go to dispatch calls for that morning, Dietering was at Teresa's house that morning testing her fax number to see what number it would show up as back at the police station.
Yep.
There, and I think that's time stamped right before 9 o'clock. It's like 8:50 something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that law enforcement was there giving. They were there, so it's possible that they gave Pam some tips too, not just Ryan. So, but it was Dietering that was there, and I forget, somebody else was with him, and I forget, but it's Dietering who makes the call. Allie has all the dispatch calls, but I think it's one of the first ones from that on Saturday morning. But it's pretty interesting to find out that law enforcement was at the house around the same time as Pam and her daughter showed up.
Yeah. Poggle was definitely there at that time. And of course, Ryan hands her a map, a phone, and
a camera.
A camera, and clearly on the down low, here's the directions, take this route to the car. Because there's no way she would have chosen the route that she took, and that's what I hope to show in my video. Because the Pam of God walk is already on YouTube.
Yeah. I do like the way that JB showed us that it was possible that Ryan told her without really telling her.
Exactly. That's what I think too. I don't think that he was obvious, and I don't think that she was even aware that she was being upon and used into find this car. I'm going to lead you right to it. I don't think she knew. I don't know if she knows now, but I don't think she knew at the time. Vanessa had a good question. Wouldn't the dogs have barked though if it were a stranger like Ryan? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And on the other hand, then people have said, now if Carla pops back in later, maybe we can ask her sometime over the weekend, but that Bear barked at an ant, like Bear just barked. So if Bear was barking, it doesn't sound to me like anybody on the property that would hear him would bat an eye. So it's
Right.
kind of, but that's, I mean, I've not heard that directly from a family member, but that keeps coming up, that Bear had a big mouth. So
I did. I want to say it was Barb, but I can't be 100% sure now because it's my memory. But it was definitely from a family member that said Bear did bark all the time, and they were used to him barking. They ignored it, obviously, because it's Steven's dog. It's over at Steven's house. Who cares what the dog's barking at? Like, why would they pay attention to that? And Steven wasn't there. So, yeah, Bear could be barking, and no one would care. The only person that might have cared wasn't there. So they could have planted the bones at any point. Personally, I think it's also possible that the bones weren't planted until the police already had custody of or possession of the property. So either it could have gone either way. It doesn't necessarily have had to have happened that night. But if Ryan, for example, was sneaking into the trailer on the 3rd, same thing goes. Bear could have barked. Stephen and Chuck were at Menards. Bobby ignores the dog barking. So yeah, it could go like that too. So we have like 20 minutes left, you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, Paul should be popping in here in like 5 minutes to join us, and then he's gonna take us to his channel.
All right, Mr. Paul, spot out some more stuff, buddy. The floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Please hold.
Okay. Will do. I'll just be over here clasping my pearls. You do whatever you got to do. Oh my God.
For those that don't
this
know,
is a good one. This is a good. Yeah, clutching my pearls. Yeah, this made me clutch my pearls.
That's still the best. No, you're gonna. It's gonna be a long time before you beat "Stop the Earth and Let Me Off." Oh my God, I couldn't breathe for like 5 minutes. I was dying. That was the best line ever.
She's got things coming out her nose.
Oh no, I had things coming out of my nose for "Clasp My Pearls." That was a bad time to take a drink of soda. I about died. No, it was so funny.
That one too. Okay, so day 63, and again, some of these we've already touched on or whatever, but I just think this is interesting. Why was Mike Hallback already grieving Teresa and talking about moving on just one day after she was reported missing? The RAV hadn't even been found yet, and that's it. I mean, and that's another, just the language, because you know how when they have people study people's language or whatever, and their mannerisms, like things like, you're not going to talk about somebody in past tense, or if somebody's still missing, and that's how they can be like, well, why is this person talking about them in past tense, or things of this nature that kind of just go by the naked eye a lot of times. But then in hindsight, I think that's very interesting, an interesting point that Finn brings up.
Yes.
Hold on, I want to see what other ones are here.
Yeah, and I'm posting a link in chat now. On November 8th, there was an article ran where Mike Hallback said that there was nothing, there was nothing leading to, and you'll see it here in a second. Basically, he said there's no bad news. The car was all good. They found her car. He didn't speak like anything was in the car. He believed that at that point everything was fine.
Then he's something like, there's nothing to suggest foul play. Something like that.
And here I'm posting the link right now, and then I'll pull it up.
What? Did they not tell you that there's blood found in the car? Come on.
I'm gonna have to go back and read all these things. Now here's another one. I don't know if y'all talked about this tonight, but this part is always, and this again is probably basic 101 stuff. But I think it was day 64. She said, why was Teresa's DNA not found on her own car key? So not just that, but the whole aspect of the different searches that they came and did, like with the key, and it was like, how the key was found, like, I forget which search it was found on, but not the first one. And it was one of those, and I don't think it was the second. What was it, like the third or fourth or something like that?
The seventh.
What? Fifth?
7.
11th?
7.
Wait, 7? Okay.
Sorry.
Anytime you said the number, it blipped out. It was just like, I was like 11, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I was like 11. No, I can start dying laughing. Like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Cancel everything. Just cancel Manitowoc County. Like, that is just done. So, but it doesn't matter though. I mean, the key thing that to me, that was just so bizarre because like none of her stuff's found on there. Where it was found, so. Oh, wait, what was I going to say about that? I mean, I don't even know really. The key was just another, to me, very obviously planted thing and it wasn't even a key ring. It was just like a random. What did they try and say was the reasoning that she just had this random lone key as opposed to her key ring? Was there ever a reason given out by the state as to that? Or did they just like, that was supposed to be like, oh no, accept this and move on?
No, I don't think they did they? They didn't give an explanation.
No, they just said this is her car key. Yeah. They never explained where her house key was. They never explained where the keys to her studio was. You know, all these things that they were never discussed. Right. They weren't important.
Right.
At least that's interesting.
Of course, like why? But technically, and this is the part that pisses me off, they're not lying. It probably is her key. You know, like that does not mean that it was the key that she used every day. You know, no, it probably was her key. She didn't use it every day, clearly, because she still had to get into her house. She still had to get into her studio. She still, you know, had a set of keys, which, you know, we see in the picture. So she had the set of keys. Just where is it? I have a theory. I have a theory of where the keys are. I think they're probably in that little creek by the turnaround. So
go for it.
I want to search it. I'm not playing. I'll get in that water and look.
Now I like what Roll just said. I hope I'm saying your name right. Where was it? Oh gosh, I can't find it. If you have a magic key, why would you need real keys? And therein lies the issue. That is the true answer there. Now, I'll say this, and I'm not trying to defend the situation, because it's like we have, whenever I drive the truck, I take the lone key for the truck, because this is just how Paul works, but it's safer for me to do that because of the way I lose stuff, and it's hard to explain, but I take a lone key for work. So I'm like, I can see where it would take place, but I have a secondary set of keys on me that have my key. So it's very weird and convoluted, but that's how I operate. So I'm like, well, I can see that taking place, but I can assure you, if you tested my key for DNA, you would know that was my key. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, I mean, I'm using it. So, the whole thing is just like, yeah, somebody put in here like, oh, somebody bumped I forget who wrote it. I saw it a minute ago. Somebody bumped, Kimberly. He knocked the cabinet with his ass, and all of a sudden it appears. There you go. There you go.
And it appears under slippers. Whoa, what the hell? Are you kidding? I mean, that key was put there by freaking David Blaine or some crap, because it just doesn't work like that, you know?
The lost episodes, Manitowoc County. We're going to find out at the end of it we were completely trolled by David Blaine.
This whole thing is an episode of Punk'd. Ashton is going to jump out anytime.
I mean, it gets to that point where you're just like, there's no other explanation. It has to be. I mean,
it's such a serious thing that happened, but the stupid things that they did and they want us to believe are damn near comical. And you don't want to laugh at what's happening, you know, to Stephen and Brendan, what happens to Teresa. But at some point, you're like, you can't be serious. Like, you get paid to do this. I pay taxes so you can do this. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And just the fact that there's none of her DNA on her own key is just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then, 19 times the amount of DNA that should be on the key if someone was just handling it? Like, he must have slobbered all over it and rubbed it all over his groin or something to get that amount of DNA on there. I don't even know, like, how does that even happen? It doesn't happen naturally. So that's clearly planted. Like, there's no way that's, you know, it falls out of the cabinet of Narnia or whatever to Narnia.
The Narnia cabinet,
and, you know, just happens to have all that random extra DNA on it, but not hers, of course, because all of the things that Steven uses to clean up the crime scene and stuff are magic.
I mean, literally, I need to know what he uses as cleaning material because my God Almighty,
Because
use it in my house.
His blood, deer blood, all that blood is in the garage, but none of hers. None.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's just cleaning up all of it. He's only cleaning up her traces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome.
It was good seeing y'all. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, anytime I'm live, you're so welcome to join us.
Yay!
And then we're looking forward to seeing you all Sunday morning.
Yeah. All right, I see it. Why can't I open it? It's not letting me open it.
Okay, y'all, I'm going to end this now, so I'll talk to y'all soon.
Okay, thank you for coming.
All right.
Love you.
Have a great day, Paul.
Yeah. Bye. Okay.
I'm like, wow. But that's, I mean, that was actually a really great chat, a really great conversation. I loved all of it. It was very easy to do. Like, as far as, people in chat were awesome.
Yeah.
Great questions. And I really want to get hold of Chloe. We need Chloe to come on one day.
Yeah.
And duke that one out. I mean, in a good way. I mean, like, work out some of the details. And like I told her in chat, figure out some pros and cons of that theory and see if we can't make some pieces fit.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. See you all soon.